Along with the Alliance War showcase that released yesterday, there came two quests that specifically were designed to be taken by Secutor attackers of the Tech and Science class. And it's really just a collection of defenders of the opposing class, in Tech's case Mutant, and in Science's case Mystic, where they're just supposed to take some unnoted large defenders of that class, sometimes with the Provocateur tactic. I think there's 3 fights in each quest with Provocateur, but in general it's meant to just be almost like, you could say, a Labyrinth of Legends kind of quest with modernized defenders. And I actually like that. I thought this was a really cool quest. Obviously, there's no nodes, so it does just feel a little generic at times, but all of these defenders have some defender potential in them, so it's not like you're fighting Winter Soldier or various Labyrinth fights like Miss Marvel and Elektra and stuff like that. But these defenders, they might not have any nodes, but they can still do some interesting things, and they're very cool at showcasing champs. So, for this video, we're going to be using some champs that I really enjoy playing of the Secutor tactics, just to show off some of their worth. And that's going to mainly be a collection of Omega Sentinel and Arcade. These are 2 champs that are at rank 3 on my account, and 2 champs that I'm working on rank 3 showcases for as well. So because of that, this is basically free content for me. It's a really cool quest. It's helping me get content. I gotta love it. I'm not in the content creator beta, so I don't get the CCP test map like a bunch of other creators do. This is almost like my version of the CCP test map. It's really interesting. I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed it because I already did both paths already. But in this video, you're going to see a lot of Arcade and Omega Sentinel doing things. And Arcade's also newly buffed, so free Arcade gameplay. So it's a little bit hard to judge a champion's power level based on the nodes of this fight. Basically how they work, I mean, I know I said there are no nodes, but the only nodes that are actually here are a node that gives them protection early on in the fight, and as the fight goes on, instead of protection, you just deal more damage to the defender. We're at the point where she's taking 200% more damage from all sources, and that makes Arcade hit really hard, and it's really beautiful. I absolutely love to see that, and I'm just spamming heavies in the corner, going for the SP2s, placing the Incinerates and Bleeds and Poisons, and just having a good time. And then this Dani Moonstar is going to go down. Dani is one of Arcade's more rough matchups, because she pushes herself very far away from the corner after special attacks. But still, the fight goes pretty well. About all of these fights are going to be sped up, because there's not a lot to say about them because of the fact that there's no nodes, but I will talk a little bit over some of them. So we have this Emma Frost one next, which she's not immune to Plasma, but it does mean OS sometimes has a hard time getting openings because of the stun immunity. That's okay though. We just want to keep stacking up those plasmas, and as the protection becomes weaker and weaker, the plasmas we already have placed will just hit super hard, and it's going to be a really good time. So go for the 4th light attack, and then go for 9 plasmas there. Need to pause them. Now we're down to 8, but that's okay. And here I lose a little bit more, down to 7, but now it's okay. She's taking more damage than normal in this state. We're at 11 of them. I just want to keep them paused, get to another SP2 soon, and that's going to be mainly the fight. So go for a 4th light ender, more plasmas, up to 16 now. They're hitting really, really hard, of course. And then that's basically it. Emma Frost is almost dead now. And we've reached the point of no return where she's taking 200% more damage from all sources, and the fight is over right there. So that's Emma Frost. We move on to Storm X, which I'm actually taking with Peni Parker, just because I wanted to try a different champ. And Peni, because of the fact that she's mainly just a short fight champion, design champion, she doesn't perform the best in this, because you kind of just get your ramp and then drop the SP2, and then after that, you just kind of have to repeat the cycle. She doesn't have any long-form potential, unlike Omega Sentinel and to an extent Arcade, but it just means the fight's going to last a little bit longer than normal. That's fine. So we're going to drop the SP2 here, and it's going to do very little damage, of course, but at least those incinerates hit very hard, because we do have extra damage at this point in the fight. So, go for a power burn there. If you don't know how to play Peni, you gain charges by dropping the SP1, and more of them if you dropped it just above the defender gaining a bar of power, because then you power drain them, and then if you push them back to that bar in the middle of the special, then you're going to gain more charges. So it's pretty nice. Go for an SP2 here. I'm doing 24k per tick incinerates. They're going to fall off before we get to the final phase of damage, but it's not that big a deal. I'm just going to go for another SP2 real quick, and every time we block, it's going to do like an instant power lock, which is going to remove Storm Pyramid X's Tempests, which is definitely helpful. So I kind of just go for it with the SP2 here. It doesn't do enough damage to kill, so I'm going to eat an SP3, but that's fine. I'm not using Peni anymore in this quest anyway. So this fight is Sauron. I don't have this fight sped up because this was like the fastest fight in the quest, and one of the fastest fights I've like ever seen in this quest. Like she destroyed this Sauron, and a big reason for that is due to a Mega Sentinel's Sig ability. When she's dropping an SP2, she's going to place an extra plasma on the attack per prowess on the opponent, up to 5. Sauron almost always has prowess, so we gain 9 plasmas on the SP2s rather than just 4 if you had the max non-damaging debuffs, which is really, really neat. It was a lot more relevant back in the day when all the new mutant defenders were prowess gainers, and then once Nimrod ruined everything, that kind of stopped being a design choice. So now OS doesn't really get to benefit from that part of her Sig ability as much anymore, but at least for some older defenders like Toad and Sauron, who still can have some relevancy on defense, it's a pretty fun time at that point. So I need Sauron to drop a special here. I have an instant bleed on me, but I don't take damage from that because I'm a Mega Sentinel, and we gain a little bit of a regen buff, so that's cool. 19 plasmas now. You can see the red numbers are absolutely absurd, and we are gonna get the 20th plasma right there. So now it's just about keeping them active. Drop another SP2, and gonna place even more plasmas, but I mean they cap at 20, so it's just refreshing them at that point, and then we got plenty of duration left on these, so I don't need to worry about them ever falling off pretty much. And yeah, that's about the end of the Sauron fight. He's at 30% now. We're gonna bait a special 2, and then I'm gonna avoid it really quick, and then he's gonna die right here after I drop this SP2, I believe. And yeah, the incinerates, or plasmas, I mean, finish him off. So I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna come back for the arcade fight specifically, but I'll let the rest of them play out at I guess increased speed usage, you could say. So I'll see you again with the Weapon X fight, I believe. But yeah. Alright, this fight was pretty cool. This is going to be Arcade versus Weapon X. Weapon X is definitely not the easiest to keep in the corner at times, but once I got into the rhythm of the fight, I literally was just able to spam heavies in the corner with him in his Berserk mode, and it was a really good time. It's going to be pretty sketchy early on, but we're going to get in a nice rhythm soon. So that was almost a death sentence, but luckily it was not. So I'm going to go for a heavy attack here, and then he's going to go for an SP1, and now he's just in the corner, and I thought that was going to place a stun, but he was still in the tail end of his Berserk mode, I guess. And Arcade's auto block is pretty handy, so I was able to not eat a hit there. But unfortunately, I didn't mean to drop an SP3. I was hoping that would be an SP2. So, I got the permanent bleed, but on the downside of that, we're very far away from the corner now. So I'm just spamming my heavy attacks a little bit to try to get some distance. Now we're back in that corner, and we're going to drop an SP2. And just keep throwing my heavies because I know I can. And here, he's in Berserk again. Gonna go for an SP1, place another Cloud, and then I'm going to go for an Intercept, slow combo a little bit, and then we go for another SP1, place another Cloud, some Shocks, and then he's in the corner again. So now, once we get into his next Berserk Rage, I'm pretty sure I play it to where he's just going to be stuck in the corner still. We'll get to that when we get to that. I can just keep going for heavies in the corner. If he double resists, it kind of sucks, but that's whatever. It's just they gave all the defenders stand your ground mastery, so that's just kind of going to happen, I guess. But heavy attack there, heavy attack again, and now he's going to go for Berserk. I could technically do a heavy attack, and because of the fact that my Arcade is duped and I have a Steadfast, I could technically just auto block anyway after his special with him unstoppable and everything, but it's just not really worth it. So yeah, he's back in the corner, he's still in Berserk, it doesn't matter. He's playing aggro, so he's not going to be blocking a lot for stand your ground triggers. That was annoying because he got out of his aggro state, and then I was hoping that heavy attack would connect, but he stand your grounded it, so it blocked my SP2. Unfortunate, but it's whatever. Kind of the risk I'm willing to take by just heavy spamming like that. Anyway, just keep throwing the heavy attacks, then he enters his next Berserk mode, wait out the initial unstoppable, go for a relic, and then we can go for a special 2 right here. And then once he follows it up with his SP1, I go for the heavy counter, and he's just in the corner. So that's just GG's. He blocks there, which is weird because he was in Berserk. I've never seen a Weapon X block in Berserk before. But either way, he is going to die right there. We have a winner, and then I'm going to be back for the Domino fight. Alright, y'all just saw Arcade take Bishop, which is not a great matchup because of the fact that I can't use like any of my damage over time debuffs except for poisons. But he got it done. I had my Incinerate pre-fight and everything in case he threw an SP1. Wasn't the cleanest fight or anything. I don't think I played it the best, but it went pretty decently. And now we're fighting Domino. The goal is literally just get her in the corner and then keep her there. And this Domino does have the tactic, so that's a little annoying, but it's not too big a deal. We're going to gain a bunch of Secutor charges via just Arcade having a bajillion debuffs, so it ends up being pretty fine. Their heavy attack gets resisted, and I'm like, oh, okay. Arcade has a lot of armor rating, but because Domino just crits all the time on her basic attacks, we don't get to utilize too much of it. But at least, you know, we lived, and then we're gonna gain health back once the protection cycles, like 3 times, I think. Don't remember, but don't really matter. So, if you activate Arcade's first pre-fight, he can't get crit failed, except for the instance where you just saw it, where he fails the buff on dexterity, which I think is really stupid, but whatever. If you trigger the auto block on Domino's SP1 like that, she stays back enough in the corner to where she's still in the cloud during the SP1, which is pretty nice. Gonna go for double medium there, SP2 again, place the incinerates and bleeds and stuff, which Domino can purify the bleeds, which kind of sucks, but it's whatever. She drops the SP2 there, need to get her back in the corner, do that pretty fast. SP1, and almost back in the corner, heavy attack, and now we're just back in the loop. So, keep charging a heavy attack non-stop. If he drops an SP1 there, do not care in the slightest. Counter it with my own heavy, and then gonna go for a heavy into the SP2 here. Luckily, she doesn't evade anything, which is pretty nice. And then we have the stun back. So, SP2 here. She drops it. We need to push her back in the corner, have the relic, which has plenty distance on it to help with that. And then Cloud is back. Heavy attack here to counter, heavy attack to stun, and then we heavy attack into an SP2 for more damage over time. And this Domino is just melting. She's just stuck in the corner, not much she can do about it. It's pretty beautiful. Found out that if I spaced it differently, like I just did there, by limiting how many times I dash back during her special 2, we can keep her in the corner easily. So that was a helpful thing I wish I kind of knew earlier on in the fight, but it's not a big deal. So, drop the SP2 here, or she does, I mean, and then she's back in the corner by her own choice, apparently, based off of that SP2, which is pretty great. But here, heavy attack, all the fun stuff, drop the SP2, keep gaining those arcade tokens, and then watch this. This is like my favorite part. I just hold the heavy attack, and it doesn't even matter. She's dead. So, that's Arcade, man. What a buff, what a champ. He's so ridiculous, and I love him. So, that's the tech path. I'm uploading the science one tomorrow, probably. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.